Hey everyone, welcome to Baka Talk.
Baka, baka, baka.
Baka Baka Baka.
This is a random side episode where we talk about how the SpongeBob movie is one of the greatest animated movies ever made.
What?
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
you can't hijack this.
he ain't-
No.
he ain't
We can
wrong.
talk about that,
He ain't wrong.
but we're not hijacked. What? No, it's not the
not wrong.
best animated.
It is
movie.
one
It
of
is
the
one
best.
of the best. It is at the
I've
point.
never watched it.
It is
so-
at the point where like Western animation, like for children's movies, really got like fluid and just really good.
I mean, it is a
All right.
comedy movie, so it's only the best based on like comedy. But as a comedy, it also has like a nice theme and message to it. But as a comedy, it's just hilarious and it's incredible.
You know what else is great? It's when you can be a goofy goober and just rock.
You can be a goofy goober.
I don't know. I've never been a SpongeBob fan, so
I feel like if you watch the movie, you would enjoy the movie.
probably. I just don't want to
It's-
take the time
It's
to
a
watch
good
it.
movie. We should add that
You're
movie to our
talking-
Baka reviews.
You're talking the first SpongeBob.
the first one.
Yeah, the other ones are horrible trash dumpster
Okay.
fire. No one should be subject to their.
I've heard
Yeah.
that.
Honestly, SpongeBob was intended to end at the movie.
It was, yeah.
Everything beyond that is trash.
I got
Fight
it.
There's
me
a-
if you disagree.
There's a few episodes in like season 4 and 5 that are not bad. Like Spy Buddies is pretty funny. There's a few episodes that are like pretty decent. But then it goes
We
from
could have
like
done without them, all of them. Just at that point, there's like
Yeah, but
it
I like
switched
those
from like a weird cynical humor that everyone could enjoy to this really weird abstract
yeah.
humor. Like everything, like you know how Simpsons has like you'll laugh, but then you're depressed by the end of an episode.
Yeah.
That's what the SpongeBob felt like after.
Yeah.
the movie.
It was just basically kids Simpsons.
Yeah, but that's what it
Essentially.
felt like afterwards. Like the old ones never felt like that.
Yeah.
They were just funny.
The other
Yeah.
thing they did is tons of just really dumb humor, which they did better in like season 4 onwards. There's a ton of just really super dumb humor, but some of the episodes pull it back enough where it's funny, and those ones are okay. And the other ones just go way too far into it, and then it eventually just
It feels
Goes
weird.
further and further
You
into
know what
it.
it feels
until
like?
it's really
It feels like a weird, sweaty weird.
Mhm.
A sweaty weird.
Yeah, that's all I can compare it to. It feels like a sweaty and weird.
You guys.
But
what?
yeah.
You guys
Like,
are.
Season 1
does
through
that
3
make
is
sense?
great.
Weez?
It does.
That,
make
like
sense.
it just you feel like you're trapped in a room with some weird sweaty
like
guy.
basically it was like the original creators gone and they took like aspects from the original and then just like forgot other aspects and took certain aspects and cranked them up.
Yeah,
Like they're like close up like shots of them
high
being
detail
stupid.
stuff.
Yeah. Like that's in the first couple seasons a few times, and it's really funny because of how it leads up to it.
Yeah.
And that new series, they do it way too much, or they do it all the time, or it's just like there's no build up to this gag. It just happens, and then it's just like this is like
Well, that's kind of humor nowadays, where humor has to be instant because you can't
Mhm.
keep people rolling on the.
You know, I don't believe
Just the
that though,
concepts.
because you know part of the reason they stopped doing Clone Wars on like Cartoon Network because they're like, oh, everyone's growing up and they don't want to watch this. They got rid of the like Justice League cartoons and stuff like that because like, our audiences are too old and don't like it. And it's like, well, most everyone in that same generation is like, bring them back.
and there was so much Clone Wars hype that they got them to remake the last
Exactly.
season.
So the
Well, kind of. What technically? Didn't it happen twice because they stopped at season 5?
So
and
they
then we got
canceled it.
season 6.
Season
but then we
6
got season 7.
Season 6 was because they had already finished half a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they canceled it.
and that was caused from
That's-
like the merger, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Kind of,
partially because
yeah.
Disney took over.
But it can't.
But-
They canceled it because they're like, oh, the new generation doesn't want to watch it. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, that's not true. Like they'll like whatever's there. Like
They were really
you, the
close.
studio, is dictating what people like and don't.
They were
like.
really close to finishing it too, and then they canceled it.
Yeah.
But then they finished it later, and the
But, like,
animation looks way better now. So.
It looks
They
great.
got rid of a lot of like the awesome action cartoons and then just replaced it with just these like stupid, dumbed down versions of them.
It did, and that's kind of when I fell out of. I mean, obviously, I was getting older, and they
Mhm.
didn't have anything for me to keep on watching.
I would have kept watching cartoons if they just didn't make them
Stupid.
stupid.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like-
was getting to the point I was like, I want more complex stories.
I feel like the same thing happens a lot with like there was a bunch of cool like action shows, and then SpongeBob became so popular that everyone was like, we need to make a show that's like SpongeBob and just makes like a dumb comedy
Yeah, they
cartoon.
did what
It's like everyone copies the popular thing, and then the other things that were good you just get left behind because they weren't the popular thing.
all the animation. I can rant about this because I love animation. I'm a Ghibli critic, darn it.
Well,
all the animation is the same safety bean, lame, low detail animation.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
not
why-
animation, artwork. The animation half of it, they do great. Everything flows great.
right.
It's all like it's got going for it.
Yeah. That's why I love Spider-Verse so much, because it made 3D animation different for once
Yeah.
instead of doing
Well,
the exact same thing they always do.
There's a show I've looked back at clips of, and I never liked the show. I kind of appreciate some of the humor a little bit now because as an adult, I understand it now. But like the show Chowder, I can honestly say is like one of the last uniquely animated shows because there's
Yeah.
actually just the world is so detailed and
Yeah.
so crazy out there and imaginative. It's like,
Mhm.
dang, how did I miss this?
And that's why we all got into anime.
Yeah,
kind
basically.
of.
Because
I
it was
mean-
like, these are like the good shows.
Honestly, my first anime being Full Metal Alchemist was like the perfect
Oh,
story.
yeah.
Because like Full Metal Alchemist was like it's not super dark. It's dark,
hmm
but it's not super like bloody gory.
Every
say,
person
like Tokyo
thinking
Ghoul.
back to the
Yeah.
dog.
It's easy to get into. It's
But it's
really
such a
interesting.
good story, and
Yeah.
the animation's so good.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, if you think about it, most of the DC cartoons we grew up with were inspired by anime.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever got to watch, but Teen Titans.
Yep.
Not this stupid Teen Titans Go BS. I hate that. It's an insult. I feel like it's an insult to me.
Well, after the
But
Teen
actual,
Titans Go to Tokyo, did you know that whenever they actually had different openings for different things?
Yeah.
They have a Japanese opening. They also have 2 different openings of the regular that indicated when like a story moment was going to happen.
yeah, yep. I remember those, and like that show borrowed heavily from anime, but
Yeah.
it was still its own original thing. It was still a DC cartoon, but it had its own villains and stuff and everything.
Yep.
It just, to me, that was growing up like a cartoon standard. I compared every like action show to
Well,
that.
look at the original Clone Wars, the 2003 Clone Wars.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Look at Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack was
Like
so
all
awesome.
those are very anime inspired, like the animation, the movement.
But yet
Yeah.
they're original.
They
They
are
all
original.
were unique. They were all original.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know how this turned into a rant about modern animation.
Well, we started a bit about taking over the podcast to talk about SpongeBob, and that's what it did. It wasn't a bit. He just
but yeah,
cute.
but
Yep.
no, I mean, it just is like, I'm sad now. I'm depressed because I want my animators back. I hate safety being animation.
Yeah, I also hate like bad. There's either mediocre 2D animation for comedy shows, or there's boring 3D animation.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those are the options.
Yeah, the 3D animation feels desolate and empty. You know, a show that did that great, and it was heavily inspired by anime, even though it was a French cartoon, Code Lyoko.
Hmm.
Half the show is 2D animation when they're in the real world, and then they go into like the computer world to fight this virus thing, and it's all 3D.
That's kind of cool. There's
I've never heard of this.
No?
Lyoko?
Yeah, I used to watch that. I think I watched that from start to finish, actually.
That's cool.
Oh wow. It's got like oh, this is super weird.
Yeah.
It's got
I realize I got like exposure to more anime stuff than I realized because I used to watch shows like Code Lyoko that wasn't an anime but inspired by it. I used to watch, without realizing it, Ronin Kenshi, which was an anime, Zatch Bell, which was an anime, a little bit of Dragon Ball if I could sneak it in on the TV.
Yeah.
why
Like,
are their foreheads so big?
because it's French.
But
I don't
this
know. I
is
don't
like-
know why.
It's-
This is like bigger than the mom from My Neighbor Totoro for big. Like
oh my goodness.
Yeah. But
you could put a football field on those things. Those things are landing pads.
another cartoon that I feel like had a lot of like the artwork was kind of anime inspired. There was a cartoon called Martin Mystery.
Hmm.
It's a freaking amazing cartoon.
Oh, there's also a live action TV show.
But just like all of those, they were all unique. You could pick them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
now it's like, so this leads into something I've wanted to talk about, but there's a few big animated movies that came out, like Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks, and they've all just done horribly. Like they barely are making their like budget back.
Are you talking like recently?
Recently.
Okay, like the
So,
recent ones,
Buzz
like
Lightyear-
Elemental and stuff like
Buzz
that.
Lightyear did really bad.
Yeah.
Like it didn't do very good. I think that's and a big reason I feel like is because Pixar is no longer making interesting conceptual movies.
I mean,
Like-
their Grand Marquis of Up.
Yeah, like
It's like a heartbreaking movie.
yeah, and like the
I
concept
still
of the
can't
movie.
watch Up again.
Oh, I love that movie
I
so much.
just
but
not. It would not do me good.
It
like-
makes the waterworks
The
go.
thing that's interesting about most Pixar movies is that they're really good movie, but they're based in a like kind of interesting gimmick. Like Ratatouille is like a rat controlling a person to cook food, and rats and food don't mix, so there's the gimmick. And like Toy Story is really obviously like a good gimmick of just like what
Yeah.
if your toys were alive? And all these movies that have done well, for the most part, have like an interesting like core idea you can get your head around.
and they
And now
take-
they're making Elemental, which is just a bunch of like elements in Element City that go around.
You know what people's biggest complaint was about it? The world is boring because they don't bother making the world fit the character.
Yeah, like
You
it's
know what
just
else?
super lame.
It's just a ripoff of Zootopia.
Yeah, it's basically another like Zootopia except with elements. And so children aren't really interested because there's nothing interesting there. It just looks like super generic. Like, I mean, it's the most generic you could possibly be by like the elements.
Yeah.
Like,
You know,
You-
the elements would have been a cool idea because in storytelling, one of the cool storytelling things is always elements. Look at Avatar. Avatar, the elements, the benders,
But, like,
stuff like
the
that.
concept
like-
of Avatar is like you can control the elements.
Yeah.
This is just elements themselves. So it's like, let's watch fire and water wander around a city.
But it would have been
so-
cool if they
If the
would have
world fit
played.
the
Yeah,
Sure.
if
like,
they did more to it. But like the base concept is just really lame.
yeah.
And then the other movie that's bombed is something Gillen Teenage Kraken. For one, the title is
Oh,
terrible
yeah.
because it's the name of the character and the character has a weird name. So you're
Oh,
never going to
Ruby
remember it.
Gilman.
Yeah, Ruby Gilman or whatever.
It's
and
a
then-
play off of Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
And then Teenage Kraken also just sounds super cringe. I hate it. But then you look at it, it doesn't look any different than Elemental. It doesn't look any different than any other animated
And so
movie
many
ever.
people were saying this is DreamWorks comeback. Like this is gonna be like the
It's-
next
yeah,
Shrek.
You
and
know
it's
where
doing
I've seen it?
horribly.
A really badly rendered YouTube ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's probably a fine movie. They're both probably fine movies, but they just don't look very interesting, like visually, or the concept doesn't, like neither of those look very interesting.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that these things are happening where they're getting failures in the box office because like Disney Pixar is way too safe and easy of just
Yeah.
like, we can make another movie like this and it'll do well.
Well, let's take it this way. There was a guy, or I think it was a woman actually. She saved Pixar by having a backup of Toy Story
Mhm.
2 on her
Yeah.
computer. Somebody deleted the file at Pixar, and she was doing work from home, and she saved it by having a backup. She got fired partially because she was the producer for Lightyear.
Wow.
Yeah, they fired her.
That's wild.
Huh.
Yeah.
But like,
That shows you that maybe these companies are waking up and being like, maybe some of these people just shouldn't be making movies anymore.
yeah. And like,
Well, here's the thing. Nothing anymore, and I will argue this till I'm blue in the face, at least in the West, nothing is made out of love.
mhm.
It's all a bottom dollar profit. It's all public investing crap. We got to make
Yeah.
this to make the stockholders happy instead of, hey, stockholders, shut up, let us do our thing, and you'll get your money when
then
you
That's
get
how
it.
I feel about the newest Marvel movies. Like, I just
Yeah.
caught up with the MCU. I watched Quantumanium and Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah. How are
and,
they?
like, they're superhero movies.
Mediocre. Yeah.
They're just a superhero
Yeah,
movie. That's what it
nothing-
felt like.
It's not like the original Avengers movies where whoever was making
know what?
it loved them.
Yeah.
Quantumanium was basically Thor Ragnarok, but funnier. Like,
Yeah.
tried to be air quotes funny.
Funnier. Yeah.
It wasn't funnier though.
Mhm.
See, that was one thing I didn't like with the Marvel movies. They started out serious, like a comic book with a little quip here
Yeah.
and there, and then they just turned into comedies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I wonder if Guardians partially did that, because Guardians, like, that was their whole vibe and it was funny, and then they're like, this went well, let's do it with every movie, and
And
then
you
they
know what's
all
funny?
became exactly the same.
Guardians 3 is more serious.
I know,
Because
and
James
Guardians,
Gunn's just
Guardians
this is the end of the
3
movie, so it's gonna be serious.
Guardians
now.
3 felt like a decent movie because it was just James Gunn being like, this is my
I haven't
trilogy.
seen it yet.
This is
so
my
I like it.
trilogy of movies, and
Yeah.
it felt like a real conclusion. It wasn't like super fantastic, but
Yeah.
it was very good.
But yeah, back to the thing. It's like that's the problem just in the West. Nothing is made with love. There's hardly any good games that come out
Yeah.
anymore. Like they're okay, they play okay. Well, some do.
It's
Most of
funny.
them
My
want to make
split second reaction is gonna be like, "Wait a second, Elden Ring," and then my other brain cell smacked that brain cell. I was like, "Wait a second, that was made in Japan."
See, well, that's a good example.
Yeah.
Let's take every Call of Duty
you
game.
can't take
It's-
every Call of Duty game. We don't have enough time.
No, I mean it's just the same thing over and over, slapped on a
Yeah.
piece of bread. And yet here's Elden Ring, where they're like they pull one of just to help in the background, one of the best writers of the era.
They didn't
And-
even let him like actually write much of.
No, he's
As
just
far
to
as I
flesh
know,
out stuff.
He wrote lore for like a couple
Yeah.
thousand years in the past.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying here was a project that was a project of love.
Yeah.
That they went to that extent
Mhm.
that they crafted a world. They built everything for fans, not for a shareholder, not for profit.
Yeah.
There was no. I'm not trying to be political. There was no agenda based thing. There was no opinions. It was just here's these characters. Here's how they're dealing with their world. You go and either fix it or mess it up
And
or destroy
The
it.
best thing about right now, there's like those bad animated movies that are bombing in the box office. Spider-Man, which is like super interesting, visually interesting, like super bizarre. There's like a character that's like a piece of like paper, like from like old timey like sketches of
Spider-Man.
I don't remember his name. No, like the old artists that used to like figure out physics stuff.
Jack Kirby.
No, I'm talking like really old, like
Like a scientist
like
guy?
yeah, like artists.
I have no idea who you're talking
I don't
about.
remember what, but like these old artists that like created these like ideas and concepts that were later proven for like how machines and stuff work. But it's like this old paper, like bizarre looking creature that's in this other world that's like bizarre looking as well.
Yeah.
It's just really visually interesting. The story is good. And that movie's just like doing amazing because it's really amazing and it's really spectacular. And it's like probably the best animated movie, like for animation wise, like ever.
Yeah.
And so that movie does well, while is these bland CGI computer, ultra smooth, boring looking movies do bad. And it's great. Like Puss in Boots did amazing in movie
Because it was
theaters.
unique.
And it was unique and it looked unique. And so
Well, see, and that's the thing too.
You just-
You could do the same thing. That's
Yeah.
worked since entertainment was a thing. But you have to put your own spin on it.
Yeah.
You gotta actually love what you're making.
Yeah, you gotta
can't
make it
just
interesting.
hate it.
Yeah.
that kind of animation is really cool though, from what I've like heard of it, is they like purposefully push the frame rates down on certain things.
Yeah, for the
And-
action scenes, so you could see everything.
So like in Puss in Boots, there's a part where Puss is running at like a different frame rate than
yeah,
the
he's
big
running
monster.
up. He's running up like the giant's arm.
Yeah, and the
And
giant
the-
is like stuttery, and it makes it more visually interesting to see him like that instead of just everything being like the like elemental just looks so like fluid and boring. It looks like it's AI generated.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think that's where like
and what I've heard about that technology is that it's not easy to do that. You actually have to fight the computer to get it to like make it more choppy. Like it's really hard to get the
Well,
animation to look worse.
animation
technically.
softwares are optimized. They have all these
Yeah.
auto
well they have AI
filters,
softening.
AI
Yeah.
enhancements that make everything seem perfect.
Super, yeah.
And when you're like, wait a second, computer, I'm gonna hit you with a hammer and I want you to make something
Yeah,
not look
like
right.
worse.
See,
Like technically worse to make it look better, then it's like more difficult.
that's where I have to wonder, and I'm wondering if this is more a death of talent. People probably skewer me for saying this. it takes just as much time and just as much work because of sculpting, rendering, coloring, animating, frame structure as it is to do a frame by frame production.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a bigger team for a hand done production,
Yep.
but they're roughly around the same caliber.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with going back to traditional, especially when I know there's like artists out there that are freaking mind blowing and fast
Yeah.
of just going back to traditional animation. You don't have to have it on paper and doing flip.
Yeah.
You can do digital. That's fine. I mean,
just-
I think that's what most anime is anymore, isn't it?
It's mostly digital.
digital drawn.
Yeah.
But it's hand drawn.
It's
but it's
hand-drawn
still
still.
drawn. Yeah.
You might have a little bit of color correction here. You can do
Yeah.
things with digital you can't do with
It's
tradition.
not. It's not where they take a skeletal mesh and then paste
Play-Doh.
a graphic. for
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
basically. Which I
What-
know there's a. Okay, people that do 3D animation are doing hard work because
Yeah.
it's hard to animate all that.
But that's why I
But-
say it's like when you look at the time frames, it's not much different,
Right.
Because
Yeah.
there's so much that goes into that. That's why video games take so long to produce.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
besides debugging and stuff, but a lot of it goes into just the art, the
Yeah.
rendering.
And honestly, I don't care if a movie's 3D. I just want the story to be interesting.
But why did we get rid of all of our 2D
I know.
animation?
Because it's easier.
It's
Yeah, it's like
Because you can literally hit Control C, Control V in 3D animation for certain things. Not
you
everything.
can do
Yeah.
that on digital 2D painting too.
Technically,
so.
but
I
yeah,
think
but
it's
like
just-
when you once you have, okay, for our audience, it might be easier to picture it this way. It's like a VTuber. Once you have a skeletal rigging,
yeah.
and you have the mesh made, it's pretty easy. It just
See,
runs
like,
itself.
2D animation is technically worse because it's going to look different frame by frame.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like the character's face will
I guess-
change in different
I guess
scenes
to
and
me,
stuff.
I look at it as this. I look at animation in all forms: 3D, 2D,
Mhm.
pen and paper, stop motion. It's all art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Art should be the artist challenging. Look, I mean, again, I will go back to it. Ghibli movies.
Mhm.
Every time that is Miyazaki saying, "Hey, I did this. Now we're going to do this because we're going to get
Yeah.
better. We're going
Yeah.
to become better than what we were." Artists should always be challenging themselves. A team of artists should always challenge themselves.
Yeah.
Not just sit there and say, "Clay ball, go."
Yeah. And just our last movie looked good. Let's make the next movie look like
Yeah,
that.
exactly the same.
It's-
They are not artists at
Yeah.
that point.
no, they are.
They're
Well,
production
they're-
machines.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. They're artists that have been told, if you want to work here, this is
Yeah.
what you're
And it's
gonna
not
do.
like the artist's fault, but what they're doing is just kind of
Disney
lame
had the same
because-
problem way back in the 50s that they had a blowback from it because they forced all these artists to animate the same exact way and they all left
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they weren't allowed to.
Why do you?
Have expression in
it's
them.
like any other workforce. When you treat people a way that they don't want to be treated, when you force them to do something they want to do, especially artists. Artists, don't take this the wrong way, people. Artists are the most like flighty people there are
Yeah, it's
because
hard
they're
to
very
focus
passionate
you're
about
always,
what
Yeah.
they're doing.
well, you're passionate about what you're doing. You're always thinking of new
Yeah.
things.
So when you're forced to do something you don't want to do, you're gonna leave, and the only people that are left are the people that either just want the paycheck
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the people are just like, well, this is
I
my
guess-
life now.
I guess that's kind of the problem, and I understand. I fully understand it, so I'm not putting anyone down on this. Is everyone goes into everything now purely for the paycheck? It seems like, rather than the passion.
Yeah.
You know, look at. I have to get on a touchy topic, but medical. There used to be doctors that were spanned fields of science, not because they had to, but just they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved helping people. And it's existed in everything. Artists made breakthroughs because they loved it. They could have just kept doing the same thing, but they didn't want to.
Mhm.
They wanted to push themselves. And there just isn't that anymore. There's no mentors anymore. There's no Miyazakis anymore that
Yeah.
are like, "Hey, I know you can do it. Let's get you there."
Yeah. And there are like a
I mean,
few
there,
that
there
are
like,
pushing stuff, but it's just not very many.
Not-
And just like 2D animation's basically just dead in the West, which is so bizarre. But like
It's sad.
claymation still exists. Like claymation seems way harder than like 2D animation.
Yeah.
And claymation still exists in different stuff.
Stop motion.
Yeah.
I feel like
like-
there's a claymation thing coming out pretty soon. I'm excited about. I forget there was something I was excited about this claymation.
One of the Star Wars episode thingies.
Oh, that's right. Well, I haven't watched Star Wars
yeah.
Visions.
We do
Volume
need
2
to
yet.
watch.
See,
Star
no,
Wars
like that's a great way to showcase different art styles.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
that
But
is
here's
one
the thing:
cool
those are
thing about
small
Visions.
studios all around the world. They're not giant studios.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they might be big.
See,
studios,
I
but
guess that's kind of the thing too. In the world of art, there shouldn't be no giant corporation to dominate it. It should
Yeah.
be a bazillion little people that are like can hand in ideas to someone that can produce. You know, like
Yeah.
here's the money. We know you're going to make us a good movie.
well, that's
Mhm.
kind of what video games used to be like, and
Yeah.
until publishers became studios.
Right. It used to be
Yeah.
you and I and we's could sit here, brainstorm, concept the whole game. Like we
Yep.
might not know anything about the computer half of it. We'll concept it. We'll get everything from start to finish of how the game's supposed to play, what everything's going to look like, and then we could take it to a studio and be like, "Hey, we want you to do this, and you take X amount of profit off."
Yeah.
Of it.
Well, and then the studio could. Well, even if you say if we were a studio back then, it could have been like we make a game, but then we go pitch it to a Activision or a EA, a
Mhm.
publisher.
Yeah, and they get us to where it plays good, it plays smooth.
I guess that kind of thing, like in video games and animation, it's more difficult than like a regular live action movie because you could just get enough people do a live action movie. But if you need like animators like working on a project for years, it's a lot harder to take a risk on it,
Yeah, but
which makes sense.
here's the
But
thing.
it's still just like,
Most people that go into art school go to become an animator
Yeah.
or a game designer.
mm-hmm.
But most people don't ever pursue it because it's landlocked to these giant freaking companies.
Yeah.
Instead of being,
And
I'm an animator, here's my rap sheet.
yeah,
I'm doing a job with these guys. I'll be over in the East
Yeah.
Coast next week.
it just makes sense that like it's harder for smaller companies to make like big animated features and stuff because it just takes so much work and manpower and stuff to
Yeah.
do it and make it look good. But yeah,
I don't know.
I wish-
In the world of YouTube, I've seen some pretty amazing.
I know, and that's what's
people.
great about YouTube is that you can animate stuff and put it out, and it's really hard to do on YouTube too because YouTube doesn't really like
There are so many.
they don't want like short animated things. That's not like a thing that's like super profitable.
Well, there's so many
but-
animators on YouTube that are great. Like there's Carbot.
yeah,
Carbot does all like the
Yeah,
Diablo.
little
stuff.
simple animations, but yet they're so hilarious to
Yeah.
watch because the delivery, the way the characters act.
and they
Yeah.
can do it through like Patreon and stuff, and if they really want to like get bigger,
yeah,
do
and see-
bigger things, they could like work on it. But it's still not an easy thing to do. It's incredibly hard.
Plus, it's always hard to do when the majority of the world think when you say, "Hey, I'm an animator," and they're just like, "Oh, you want to work for Disney?"
Yeah,
Basically, yeah.
Instead of being, "I'm an animator. I basically work for whoever and go where I want."
yeah. So all we have is anime, which
Yep.
isn't too bad.
I've been watching some really cool anime recently, but
I need to watch it.
I watched Vinland Saga season 2, and it was incredible.
nice. I need to catch up on that. I finally finished Demon Slayer season 3.
Nice.
I finished can't think of the name of it.
The
Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise. I think I'm like one episode away from finishing it. I need
Are
to
you on
finish
episode
that.
12?
I'm not sure.
Because they had 13 episodes.
Okay, I might be one or two. I don't
Okay.
know.
Pretty good. I'm excited. I want to see if they're gonna do a season 2.
I think they've announced the season 2.
I dropped Mashal,
Yeah,
and I haven't started Konosuba Explosion in This Wonderful World.
it's pretty fun.
But I want to watch it. But
Dead Mount Death Play has been really fun.
oh, I finished. No, I'm 2 episodes behind because I started watching
Okay.
it dubbed,
Oh, nice.
and they're behind.
They're behind.
But I want to finish that.
The
That's so
ending
good.
is really
Is
awesome.
it?
It's kind of like a slow like build up thing going on, and then the second like they called it the second season, but it's basically the second core because it comes out in like October. or
Oh, okay,
something.
that's cool.
So that's coming out, and then Vinland Saga though is just it's the slowest like visual piece of media I think I've ever watched. It is excruciatingly slow. There are
Okay.
so many episodes of farming and just like we need a horse to plow this field, and just the whole episode is them just like getting the horse.
That's kind of great.
And so it's really slow burn, but it builds up to like an insane ending, and there's
Nice.
so many cool moments, and it's such a good show, but it is very, very slow.
I started watching an old anime called Samurai Champloo.
Nice.
Pretty good so far. I'm watching it dubbed. It's got the same voice actor as Spike Spiegel.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's pretty cool. It's a good movie. It was one of those weird anime that's mixed 90s city hip hop culture with Japanese stuff, which was it's interesting so far. It's pretty cool. I started watching My Dress Up Darling
Nice.
because I was like, I heard a lot about this and thought I'd just watch it. It's pretty good so far.
I watched an interview with the author of Vinland Saga,
Yeah.
and he mentioned that was one of the anime that he enjoyed watching was My Dress Up Darling.
It's pretty good. Like, yeah, there's fan service stuff.
Yeah.
Just like any other romance harem anime type thing. But like the way they interact with like the cosplaying and stuff, and like it's really good.
I've heard
story.
it's pretty
I like
fun.
it so far. And then I binged through Ramen Cat talked about this anime. He didn't finish it. I found it, finished it in one day. Kabanari of the Iron Fortress.
Oh, nice.
The zombie anime.
Okay. Was it like a steampunk? Yeah.
Steampunk zombie.
Like it's true steampunk.
Was it cool?
It is so good.
I
don't want to talk a lot about it because I honestly want you guys to watch it so we can all talk about
It's one of the few anime I can say I like all the characters.
It is so good. People are saying it's a ripoff of Attack on Titan. This is an anime only thing. It's kind of got similar story plots, but it's not.
I mean, Attack on Titan's good, so I don't really care if it's a
good.
ripoff.
The disappointing part is it didn't take off. This could have totally had a second season.
Yeah.
They did do a movie in 2019 that Netflix took.
Oh, okay.
And they did like a 3-part, like hour and a half
Mhm.
movie. I'm going to watch that next to see if it finishes it up, but it was so good. Like the story elements, the fact that like they took the post-apocalyptic thing and they spun it on its head where people are surviving. The zombies are a problem, but again, it's kind of like the Walking Dead scenario where the humans are a worse problem.
Yeah.
And then the whole fact that like it's not a normal zombie thing where if you just shoot a zombie in the head, they stay down. Like you actually have to like be creative how you kill zombies and stuff like that.
That's cool.
The characters are cool. For once, a crybaby character turning into like a B word badass character.
Yeah.
Like was actually interesting to watch for once. So
That's cool.
but yeah. That was one of the first animes I binged in a while. So
Nice.
this is interesting.
I'm excited for Attack on Titan to finally end.
Yeah, it was kind of
Dragging
funny.
it out forever.
Pyrolis is in communication with us again. And it was just funny. He texted on the podcast thing like, "Hey guys, why is there 7 parts to the last season?" I'm just like, stupidity.
Well, you see, they made a movie out of the last 6 episodes and split that into 2 parts.
I didn't think there was actually 7 parts to it, but I was thinking about it. I don't know if it's exactly 7 or 6.
It's something ridiculous.
Because it was going to be season 4.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be season 5.
It was like the final season, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. It's just like...
Is it just that SpongeBob thing? Part two.
Basically.
I'm waiting for them to take the last movie and split it into 2 40-minute episodes.
That's 40 minutes of episodes.
I mean, the last, like, I don't think you watched the previous, like, movie thing. Cause
no, I'm waiting for the next one to come out so I can just watch
the whole thing. Yeah, because it is like a part 1 of 2 of this movie that they split in half.
Yeah.
Which the movie is just made up of 6 episodes. Like, even in watching it, it gets to a point and then it just goes like black screen. It says like part 2.
Oh, they totally just milked.
And then, next thing. I feel like they overcorrected to what happened with season 2, where they went like 5 years without anything coming out, so it killed the momentum so much. So they did the opposite. They're like, we're gonna just put out it as we go, and then it's like we got our 50 episodes done, which we split into multiple parts already, and then we are gonna add this ending like movie thing, and then we're gonna split this into parts and just put it out as
Well,
we
it's like
finish
they decided to make the movie, and they're like, "Wait a second, we only have half the movie done, so let's release that." And then
Like I
make
feel
the
like
rest
if
of the movie.
they didn't release the first part, there'd probably be more hype because it would be like this is the real final finale. But it's like you've already seen part 1 of the finale.
When they first said
Here's
that they were
the
gonna
real
split,
finale.
yeah, when they first said that they're gonna split the final season into 2 parts, I was like,
Mhm.
that kind of makes sense because they can have their
Yeah,
their low point and then their
Mhm.
high point.
yeah,
Like that would be cool. But then they were like, well, then we're gonna split the final. I was
yeah.
just like, what in the heck?
I mean, it is good and it looks really good and I've really enjoyed it, but it is bizarre how
Yeah.
they're releasing it.
Did you guys see? I know you guys probably didn't watch them. Oh, whoops! Stupid YouTube shorts.
I just realized something.
What?
Hype.
What?
As of Friday, I believe Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 is out.
Right.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 is coming out really darn.
I'm
soon.
going to need to watch the first season
and the
so I
movie.
can watch.
Oh, wait, you watched?
I watched the movies. I need to watch the
Oh.
first season so then I can watch the second season. Maybe
I gotta
make a
start
video
collecting the
about
rest
it.
of the manga before they go back up in price.
I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about it though, because it's such a popular series. There would be so many videos about it.
Oh,
That's the thing. It's in a weird niche because when season 1 came out, it got no attention.
Yeah.
And then randomly, like on Twitter, someone was like, "Hey, how come everyone's missed this show?" And it just blew up.
Yeah, I think it was also because like Demon Slayer came out around the same time and all this
Yeah.
stuff, so it kind of got overshadowed. But it does seem pretty popular now. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Maybe if I find
See,
something
I feel like the reason I like it so much is it's got that Noragami vibe going.
Oh yeah, I'll have to watch it.
but they announced that Konosuba season 3 is gonna be coming out pretty soon,
Yeah.
2024, as well as I know you guys don't. I don't think any of you watched the anime, but they're coming out with another season
Oh,
of
yeah.
Black Butler.
Yeah, that is
Which I thought
really
was
weird.
interesting. 'cause
Out of
I
how
want-
many seasons?
It's only 4.
It's only 4.
Yeah, there's also, let's see.
I think there's a bunch of
part.
movies,
There's
though.
season
Yeah.
1, season 2, Book of Seas, Book of Circus.
I watched that first half of the first season, and then I was like, this was like during my early anime time, so I thought it was a little weirder than what
Yeah,
I wanted to watch.
I mean, now it's like, this is nothing.
yeah.
I think after they air quotes threw the guy in the oven, that was like one of the last episodes.
Oh yeah, you have to go into it realizing they are not the good guys.
No, they're not. I was just like, wait a second, what's going on here?
Yeah, I should probably watch it.
I might watch it.
It's definitely early 2000s edge.
Yeah.
Edge
Yeah.
cringe.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't mind early 2000s. I like Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, that is true.
There was another anime that was, Spice and Wolf.
It's getting another.
It's getting another
yeah, it
season.
How
is.
the story ended.
I have no
I
idea.
haven't-
No, it's not getting another season.
It's getting.
It's getting
remade.
another
remake.
adaptation.
Oh,
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
gotta
so they're
finish
gonna
the
readapt
original. Me and Kai were
Watching,
watching it, and it's really good. It's okay. It is a relaxing show that you will learn how to become a merchant.
Economics. Yeah.
Yes, but
I
it's
wanna
so
watch it.
relaxing.
I want to watch it. It looks super good. The new one, because I saw the trailer, looks really good too. And then the last thing I saw for previews, I haven't really been paying attention much to them, but DC, and I think it's
Oh, yeah.
Studio. Oh,
Oh
what
yeah,
studio
the
is it?
Suicide Squad
Suicide
Isekai.
Suicide
That
Squad
title is so
Isekai.
on the nose. It's like what?
Me and Pyros were talking about it, and he was like, "I don't think this is an actual isekai." And I'm like, "Dude, there's dragons and knights. Like, they die. I
Yeah.
want their heads to explode, and that's why they
that
get
would be
isekai.
great.
Like, just Suicide Squad it. The only thing I'm worried about is it looks like it's possibly Jared Leto Joker.
And the Joker does look weird.
Like, it's the weird
But I don't
original
think-
Suicide.
I don't think
Joker.
he's going to be much of a main character.
I'm guessing it's just gonna be Harley Quinn. Maybe,
But,
but we'll see.
Also, the thing I'm super excited for is Goblin Slayer season 2.
Oh yeah, it's coming out too.
I'm super hyped.
That's gonna be fun. Have you watched Goblin Slayer?
Nope.
Oh man,
You would really like it.
How
Like,
have you not watched the most Doom anime of all time?
you just have to get past the
it's-
first like 5 minutes of the first episode.
Oh,
where
I've
it's
seen the
just like,
first 5 minutes.
okay.
I watched like halfway into one of the first episodes. I was
Okay.
like, I'm bored.
Yeah,
What?
that's what you have to get past because that part is kind of just whatever. But after that, it gets really good.
I mean, I watched your Goblin Slayer as just a D&D campaign and enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's that. It's really fun. It's
Yeah, but
worth
I'm gonna
watching.
hold up to the standard of your episode. And if it's nothing like the Wheeze adaptation,
It is.
I am not gonna like
What
it.
I did is it's not like Demon
I
Slayer
was
explained
here
badly where
when
I
you
totally changed
extracted
it.
the voices from Boom and
true.
Pyrolas.
What?
Because I hid in the room because you kept putting a microphone in my
I
face.
wanted you to record. Yeah, when I recorded.
We voiced in that?
Yeah, you were in the second part.
I did?
Pyrolas is definitely in it. I don't know if you're in it.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
is.
remember
He's the
it.
dwarf.
Yeah, he's the dwarf.
We can walking that far.
Huh.
Yeah. You have like one line and Pyrolas has like
I'm not a
two
good
or
voice
something.
actor.
There's not
so
much in
I
it.
don't blame you.
There's a lot more in Ruby Abridged, but I didn't do a ton of like voice for.
I want to practice being a better voice actor, but
Yeah, I want to make more voice acting stuff.
well, I'll put my
Do it.
voice towards it.
I really want to. It'd be fun. Make you a voice
Anyways.
for me finally.
I say
I'll
anyways.
do the
'cause
voice acting.
Yes.
All right.
All the voice acting.
Oh,
We should
man.
make
All
it.
of it.
Are we gonna make another project then?
I want to eventually. There's a ton of projects.
We need to brainstorm and figure out.
I want to
a
make
project.
like a audio drama and all kinds of stuff.
Oh heck yeah!
I know I can do it.
Wheeze.
Yeah.
We
I-
won't drop any titles or anything. You and I have a partner collaboration we have to
do.
work on.
We do need to finish that.
All right, that's what we're
Eventually.
doing.
All right.
Well, I have the equipment, so
You have the equipment. You can voice act in something.
We got the ideas.
We also got to get McSnazzy pants.
Yeah, the
'cause
cringier the voices, the better.
Yes.
Oh, I know what you guys are talking. This is like
Yeah.
that long running skit that you guys just do whenever you see each other, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be amazing.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
So messed up.
It's
We've been working on this
Such
for
an
a
inside
while.
joke. Our viewers have dropped off.
literal
already.
years. You guys do this skit like every other time I see you guys.
We created this when
We work together.
we worked together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be cool. Well, anyways, that's a little preview for you guys. I guess we're gonna be doing audio things.
Go
now.
subscribe to KBW for. I'm probably not gonna update it there, but just go subscribe.
But I guess we can try doing stuff for actual Baka Talk too. That'd
Yeah,
be
we
fun.
could.
All right. Well, besides for that, this was an odd episode, but we wanted to try doing something extra. So I think I'm gonna post this a little bit around the same time as the Baka
Right
reviews.
now.
You could just you could hold this until we miss a week. Is it?
Well,
I
this
guess
is
it's
because
a little.
we mixed.
It's
the
a
week.
little time sensitive, I guess, because we
It
mentioned
is.
the.
I'm gonna probably post it tomorrow, seeing as I won't be doing anything,
Cool.
and seeing as we just rambled, so it's not a lot of editing. But
And I'll have some more stuff for the next nerd dump.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got a Warhammer set,
This wasn't
baby.
a real
Yeah, we didn't-
episode. This was a half.
Well, this was kind of like nerd dump and then anime.
Yeah, I know. This wasn't a real episode of Baka Talk. It
Either
was
way,
a
for
bonus
next nerd
episode.
dump, I took the plunge. I'm in bankruptcy.
Oh yeah, Warhammer. But anyways,
Uh,
we're gonna end it here, and hopefully you guys like listening. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, follow us on Spotify or iTunes, and leave a review on iTunes if you can, or wherever else they give you that nice and fancy 5-star button thing. Besides for that, if you liked it, share with a friend, and we'll see you all later.
ciao meow.
Bye.